Everyone has periods of loneliness in their life, but conversations about social isolation is something that is starting to become more and more common. Is this because we're starting to recognize the importance of addressing it, or because the issue is becoming more prevalent? Relationship dynamics are shifting, and we've seen the advent of social media. And we've all just lived through lockdowns when we were literally required to not socialize in person at all. But is this issue actually impacting our generation differently? Welcome to my generation. Joining me today is Miguel, Miranda, and Trinity to talk about loneliness, something that I think is definitely affecting all generations. But guys, let me ask you this. How do we define loneliness? Like, what is it?
I'd say it's like a lack of social connection.
Is it deeper than that? Like, is it a lack of emotional connection, or just me talking to you, hey, how's it going out of Starbucks?
I think it's emotional connection because you can feel alone in a crowd.
Yeah.
I agree.
Miguel, what do you think?
I would say that you can have all the friends in the world and still feel alone. Still feel
So it's more of
lonely.
a state of being then.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's more of
Is
a
it
state.
like a mindset?
I would say it's more of a mindset. You feel like you're not connected to anyone. And I know personally, I often feel like even my friends don't really understand me or know me.
So it's like an understanding element too. Like,
Yeah.
you want to feel understood.
Yeah.
We as people want to feel understood.
Correct.
Okay, valid point. Now, would you guys say that we are more lonely, like as a Gen Z generation, we're more lonely than past generations?
I would say to some extent.
Why?
I think definitely the social landscape and how we socialize has changed, with COVID making it even worse of the fact that we were not even allowed to socialize in many ways, then that turning to technology, which was great to be able to socialize at all, but making it kind of really impersonal when you are connecting with somebody through a screen that's this big.
So I think that it could be argued the other way too. Now we have the ability to communicate with so many people, and we never had that ability before. If you wanted to see one of your friends, you'd have to walk there. And then there was the telephone. You could call them. And
It's
then
almost become...
yeah.
So I was listening to an interesting podcast. Somebody had said, because it's so easy to connect with people now, it's almost like it's too easy that we don't bother.
So it's quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like, how many followers do I have? How many likes do I have? It's this...
That's comparison almost.
Yeah,
It's
in
just
a way,
looking for
maybe.
validation.
Looking for validation.
Which isn't necessarily healthy when it comes to building meaningful relationships.
Now, my question is, and I brought this up in my was because we're talking about it more and more, does it just seem like it's more of an issue now rather than before? Because listen, like they didn't talk about it 50 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
Loneliness.
interesting too. Like every generation has a problem. And this one seems to be like social media, and we have so much access to so much information that wasn't available before. Just like when we first developed ways to trade overseas, right? We got access to so many more things, and that's what we have now. We can literally figure out something that's happening in Japan right now or anywhere.
Which is crazy. It's almost like the ease of information.
Information and communication.
So I have the definition. Psychology today defines loneliness as the state of distress or discomfort that results when one individual perceives a gap between one's desire for social connection and actual experiences of it. So that's what they define it as. Now, would you guys add anything, take anything away? Miguel, what do you think?
I think that when they say for social connection, I think they have been too loose with that. I would say it's more of like a emotional or even like just a good feeling when it comes to social interactions. Because you can socialize with people without feeling like accepted or loved or wanted.
So that would almost be like a block to attaching with others, right? That's that thing. Like if you're in a room full of crowded people, how attached do you actually feel to them? Because historically, humans are social creatures. We need other humans to survive. So if you don't have that connection, it's unnatural.
Okay, so why is it like we can even still feel lonely when we have good friends, good family that are there for us? It's almost like, do we just not talk about these things too?
I would say it's also because maybe your family, like most people's family would say that they love them, right? But they don't necessarily understand them or show it or show that they love them.
Boils down more so to mental health is what you're talking about, right? Because you would say if you're having extreme feelings of loneliness, which is discomfort and pain, that's almost bordering on depression, wouldn't it?
I would say that loneliness is very closely tied with depression. If you're depressed, you probably feel lonely.
We'll touch on it, and Trinity, I'll throw it to you in the next segment. But when we come back, we'll look at the impact, like we discussed, social media has on the way we interact.